biggest advice for younger anglers is just keep your head on straight, follow your dreams, do what you want to do, don't get knocked down, you know. It's so easy to get knocked down as a young angler because people look at you and they're like, oh, well, that's just a kid, you know. And yeah, I'm just a kid, but looking at how far I've excelled over the last 2 years, it's just crazy, you know. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Let's be honest, you know.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, Angie Scott and Barb Carey.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I'm Angie Scott. This week, we have a fun interview to share with you that Barb and I did, get this, together and in person when I was on a trip up in Minnesota a while back. So we hope you enjoy this rarity as we chat with a young up-and-coming angler from Minnesota by the name of Maddy Ogg. You've probably heard of her as her face was popping up all over social media not too long ago after she set the Minnesota state record for a catch-and-release pike. I think you're really going to enjoy Maddy's story. And speaking of young female anglers, we wanted to let you know that an organization called Fish for a Change is teaming up with Orvis to create the opportunity of a lifetime for a driven young lady. The first of its kind this upcoming season, Fish for a Change will be hosting an all-girls trip to Guanaja, Honduras. Yeah, I had to look that up to find out how to pronounce that. Young ladies will have a chance to fly fish and learn alongside their peers while giving back to the local community and environment. I'm going to share a link to that scholarship application in our show notes on the website, so go to thewomanangler.com/49 to check that out and apply. Be sure to share it with any young female anglers that you know that could really benefit from an experience like this. They have a lot of other events coming up as well, so I'll share a link to their events page in the show notes and on the website as well. And maybe you can find one in your neck of the woods that you'd be able to attend, or if you're feeling extra adventurous, which I hope you are, maybe one that you could travel to. All right, sit back, relax, and enjoy our rare in-person interview with Maddy Ogg.
Welcome to the Women Angler and Adventure podcast. I'm Barb Carey, and Angie Scott is in the house. Angie, we're actually in the same room.
This is great. I wish we could do this all the time.
Yeah, too bad we can't let's get a podcast helicopter and just kind of once a week we'll shoot back and forth. Maybe our budget will allow that someday.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
that'll be great. Everybody start sending in your donations. And we'll get there.
We're in Minnesota. This is Angie's home state.
Yep.
And she came home for a visit to the family and stole her dad's car, much to her dad's disappointment, right? Was there a little something with taking your dad's car?
Well, he gave me a little orientation on how to drive it and what all the buttons do, and I had to drive it from the gas station the rest of the way to their house just to make sure that, I had it all down. So,
nothing like overbearing, loving parents, isn't there? But I tell you, we're in Minnesota, and what do we talk about when we're in Minnesota? It's not the Vikings, it's fishing.
That's right.
Fishing.
We talk about fishing.
And, in the world of women's fishing, there is a rising star. And we happened to snag her in the parking lot where we saw her. We're so excited to have Maddy Ogg on the show today. Maddy, welcome.
Hello, it's a blast to be here.
I'm going to tell, you usually don't tell women's age, but Maddy is 18 years old. She doesn't look a day over 17 3/4. But what a rising star angler. I know her as a member of the Women Angler of Minnesota Club. We're both in that club. She's a star there. Tell me, kind of brag on yourself a little. Tell me about a couple accolades. You got some big award in that club this year. What was that about?
Are we talking about Angler of the Year?
Angler of the Year, that's right.
So basically what Angler of the Year is it's a master angler program that Women Anglers of Minnesota puts on. And the person who turns in the most qualifying fish throughout the year wins that Angler of the Year award.
Awesome. So how many fish did you turn in?
4.
What were they?
I got my crappie, walleye, pike, and perch.
So these fish, there's like a minimum benchmark length really to make it qualify for the Master Angler program. What are the sizes? Were there any monsters?
Let me think. The perch was, right on that borderline 12 inches, right on the borderline of jumbo. The crappie was 14. Walleye, it was really fat, 27.
Nice fish.
Yep, it was a nice fish. And then the pike that I got that I actually registered was a whopping 37. So,
wow, dandy.
Yeah.
How long have you been in that club?
2 years now.
For those of you that don't know, the Women Angler of Minnesota is the longest running women's fishing club in the country. They've been around for over 40 years. It's a nonprofit organization. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the club? You've been really active in it lately.
Yeah, the club is a great thing. I mean, it gets women out and gets them doing the things that they love, and it's a really good outlet for women to be able to know that they can do this stuff, without their partner or even with their partner, but just for them to gain knowledge on what they want to do and, however they want to be in the industry, that they know that they can do that with this club.
That's awesome. Do you see yourself having a future in the industry?
That's the dream. I mean, I hope so. I think that it would be pretty cool, and I think I'm on a good track here with where I'm at, and I hope that the future brings good things.
I'm sure it will. I know you're a hard worker, that's for sure, and a responsible young adult. And so, Angie, I don't know if you knew this, but I recently saw her picture on the cover of Target Walleye, the email news blast that came out. Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
It was like she was holding this massive, massive pike.
Unbelievable. I got to hear the story about this pike you caught the other day.
All right. Well, we were out on Mille Lacs, and it was actually going to be my last time able to go up there for the season. So, we spent a lot of hours on the water, and it was a slow weekend. It was cold. It was windy. It was kind of raining a little bit. And our hope was kind of low, but at the same time, we saw 8 eagles on the way to the lake, and we're like, this is going to be a good day. And then immediately, me and Jenny Buckingham, when we got out there, we landed a double. They were small pike, but we landed a double. That doesn't happen too often. And so that was really cool. And we're like, today we're either going to land a lot of fish or a really big fish. And it just so happened that landed my personal best pike.
It wasn't only just your personal best pike. It set some sort of record, didn't it?
That it did. It set the Minnesota catch and release state record.
Wow.
For northern pike.
I got a couple questions about now. Did they just recently start with the catch and release record program?
They did actually. They just released the program in April of 2018.
So what did you have to do in the boat? You got a short window of time there when you have the fish in before you let it go. What did you have to do to make that a legitimate contender for this contest?
Well, just certain verification. So, the average picture on the bump board, picture of the fish, picture of the person holding the fish. You got to have your witnesses and, So basically what it is if you go on the DNR website, they have a form that you can fill out. And you basically put down what you were using, where you were located, that sort of thing, and filled out the form. And it was the first verified, so that was pretty cool. It got the program rolling pretty good, I'm sure. So
awesome. Now, did you need a special certified bump board to measure it on?
I don't know that for sure. I would assume we did have a special certified bump board, so I guess I didn't have to really talk to them much.
They
about
just had
if
one
they were
of the
gonna
boats
use it.
that you used.
Yeah.
How'd you catch them?
We were trolling using a 22 short from Lungen Lures. They're kind of still getting their business started here. They make musky baits, and it was just a chrome crankbait. Did the trick.
That is really cool. That must have like just really fired you up.
Oh, it was insane. I started jumping in the boat with pure excitement. You should have seen me. I looked like a little kid.
Well, Barb asked you earlier about, possible aspirations for a career in the industry. And you recently attended the Fishing Careers Workshop, which the Lindners put on up in Gull Lake. And what did you think about that event?
That was a wonderful event. It was super cool seeing all the different perspectives of fishing and the industry itself, and just seeing, where other people come from and hearing the backstories. And I mean, hearing Barb talk was just awesome. Seeing another woman that's as successful as she is in the industry, it's like, makes you know you can do it.
Yeah. Did it plant any kind of seeds in your head about directions you may want to go? Or anything like that?
It did. I know I want to be more on the people side of things. I want to be able to spread that passion like wildfire. Like, that is my goal. Like, that's what I want to do.
Well, I know you have a passion for angling. I've seen you at other tournaments in the past. Now, didn't you just recently do good at the Women Angler Minnesota tournament this summer? Didn't you do well there? Or was that last winter? I thought you had another tournament win in there. Maybe it's just all those master angler fish that
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the best you can do is just work your butt off, and hard work pays off, but...
Well, one of the things that I said in my seminar, and I say all the time, if she can do it, I can do it. And what excites me about you is because I feel like I can be a resource for you that I never had. And I've already been talking to you about logging your hours in the boat. If you want to go take the captain's class. I know Angie's just about to take her captain's test, and Shelley Holland, who we had the show on a couple weeks ago, it has her captain's license. And yeah, Cheryl Smith, another one, she's got her master's. And there are so many options available. I just read a story about a female ferry driver who drives the passenger ferry between Madeline Island and the mainland up in Bayfield. And I know when I graduated from my captain's school, I had 3 job offers within the next week. So, the possibilities are there, and you're such a good angler, and you have that passion for sharing. I just can anticipate that the world is wide open for you.
It sure is, and I'm excited to see where life takes me.
That's awesome. So, what are your plans for the winter? Like, what kind of fishing trips you got coming up here?
Oh boy, winter is going to be busy. I actually am fishing the UPL, the Ultimate Panfish League that Matt Johnson puts on for the first time this year. Me and my partner, we are the first female team to ever do it. So that's crazy cool. That's going to be 4 different weekends, and then I'll probably make it up to Vic and Dots up in Canada at some point this winter. Other than that, I'm kind of keeping it open-minded, not trying to fill my schedule too much because things come up, so, yeah.
That's really cool. Is there a place people can go and kind of follow your adventures? Are you on Instagram or?
I am.
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook, really. I would say, honestly, more so Facebook I post. I'm not very tech savvy, so yeah, but...
Well, I'm sure people want to, check it out and see you do well and see where your adventures take you in the future.
Yeah.
So, we have the wave of young female anglers is just starting, I think, and, we're trying to tap into some of these high school anglers. Angie, I'd like to get a couple of these high school angler girls on the team, and I talked to a guy earlier at that workshop, and he was talking about women on his college team. I'd like to talk to some of those gals too. But you have had a lot of support, Maddy, from some of these fishing clubs and stuff. What advice would you give, like somebody who's young like you that has the passion to kind of take that jump up to start on her path?
Honestly, people say this, and it is so true. The people are going to be how you get further. Kristen Merwin, she has helped me so much along the way, and she keeps my head straight, and that's for sure, a big deal there. Biggest advice for younger anglers is just keep your head on straight, follow your dreams, do what you want to do. Don't get knocked down, you know. It's so easy to get knocked down as a young angler because people look at you and they're like, oh, well, that's just a kid, you know. And yeah, I'm just a kid, but looking at how far I've excelled over the last 2 years, it's just crazy, you know. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Let's be honest, you know. So,
are there other people that you're currently kind of mentoring that aren't as experienced as you are?
You know, there definitely are. I wouldn't say that it's an official mentorship or anything along those lines, but I don't know. I like to help where I can, and I like to teach kids. My grandma runs a foster home, and I've taken a lot of those kids out, and it's a great outlet for them, you know. And there's kids that have never gone fishing that come in, and it's like, hey, you want to go fishing? And they're like, yep, let's go. You know, it just gets them out and gets their minds on other things, you know. So that's great.
Well, I think you're definitely doing all the right things, and
that means a lot.
Yeah, I'm really excited to follow you and see where everything takes you.
Well, and one last question.
Yeah.
Will you take me fishing where you got that giant pike?
You got it. Let's do it.
Hey,
anytime. Anytime, Barb. Anytime.
I'm going to be up in Mille Lacs, I think, in January.
Really?
Yeah, I think Julie's going to set some sleeper shack thing up.
Yeah.
I think I might have to skip the brown trout trip. You know, if you're a woman listening to this podcast and you don't have options like this in front of you, like brown trout fishing or, you know, big pike fishing or whatever, I mean, there are places to get connected to. So, you know, if you're in the northern part of the country, Women Anglers of Minnesota, Wisconsin Women Fish. You're in Canada, it's the Ontario Women Anglers. Even the South has a popular bass league that's more of a professional league, the Lady Bass Anglers Association. But there's get connected with a group, because that is going to get you on the water more, even if you just meet some friends online. And you can do that by posting on our Facebook page that people are meeting each other, they're connecting, they're networking, and that's how they're getting more time on the water. They're becoming better, and they're having these great successes that are changing their lives.
Yeah, and you made me think of another organization, because I know, me being in Nashville, we have a Tennessee Becoming an Outdoors Woman group, you know, that women can go and get education on different types of fishing and hunting even. And I know you used to teach for that organization, so that's a good one to look up in your state and see if one of those exists you can get involved in and get some good education experiences out of that.
And if you have questions for Angie or I, or even Maddy, I bet she would pitch in there and give you some advice. But just pipe up on our Facebook page. We want to hear some interaction. Give us some ideas, other things we can be doing, and other ways we can get women to take that first step, to take that cast that's going to change their lives.
Yeah. And links to all those things will be on the show notes, and you can find it at thewomanangler.com website as well.
Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys very much.
We hope you enjoyed that chat. Please take a moment to visit the website at thewomanangler.com/49. There you'll find some photos of Maddy, as well as the links we discussed in this week's episode, including a link to apply for that scholarship I mentioned at the beginning with Fish for a Change in Orvis. We've got a huge episode in store for you next week, so hopefully you've subscribed to the show on your favorite podcasting platform like iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or Google Play. We posted a little teaser video about next week's episode on our Woman Angler and Adventurer Facebook page. If you want to get a sneak peek of who it is, go there and check that out. We're also working on a couple big things that we expect to announce in the next week, and you will not want to miss. So the very best way to get in the know for that is to sign up for our email list by going to thewomanangler.com, or you can go to our Facebook page and click the sign up tab. I can't wait for you all to be back with us next week. Exciting times in the woman angler and adventurer world. Remember, it was Moses who said, "Never leave fish to find fish."